So, I decided to use a different software for this battle report. I'm using something because I used to use my iPhone, and now I'm actually using a Samsung product. This is the battle I decided to play this weekend at a new store that that just started up. It's Khorne against Khorne, Warriors of Chaos against Warriors of Chaos. I have a Skull Crusher bus. I call it the Victory Train. It's 6 Skull Crushers, 2 Lords, well, a Lord and an Exalted Hero BSB on a Juggernaut. And I got these new guys last week. I had gotten a unit of Warmongers. So I wanted to see what they can do against Warriors of Chaos, other Warriors of Chaos models. So there are my Warmongers. There's 5 of them. And across from the Warmongers is a unit of about 30 Tzeentch Warriors. Next to the Warmongers is a Hound unit, and next to the Hound unit is a Chariot unit. It's kind of hard to see. I can think because the color of the wall at the store was bright orange, so it's difficult to see this guy's army. And besides, his wasn't painted up necessarily. He's really just starting, and I just wanted to see what Warmongers could do. Here's a better picture here. He has a unit of 5 Skull Crushers, 2 units of Knights on either side of the Skull Crushers, a Chimera fully tooled out, and a Dog unit. I have across from him, I have Hellstriders, a Hound unit. Behind the Hound unit is a Warrior unit. And I got Vanguard. He didn't have any Vanguard, so I got the Vanguard up with my Hellstriders, with my Sorcerer, my level 4 of level 4 of Slaanesh Sorcerer. And as you can see, I kind of kept the Chimera kind of back a little bit because I really didn't have anywhere for it to go, really. And beside the Chimera is actually a Hell Cannon. This is like a 2,500 point game, so we got to play with quite a few toys. And since it was like his first game playing, really, I wanted him to play with a myriad of different troop types, and the ones that he liked. So, yeah. So this should be interesting. Here's a view of the table again. He also has a Chariot on the other side. It's hard to see. It's on the far left side of the screen here. Okay, so he got first turn, so he decides to charge his Chimera into my Slaanesh Riders. I flee, of course, because that's a Sorcerer, and it's a unit of Hellstriders, and that's almost over 500 points sitting there. So I'm not gonna let him have that. No. He built a Khorne list, right? But he has Tzeentch guys, but he didn't run any Sorcerers because he said it wasn't going to be fluffy enough. But I say since you ran in the Tzeentch Warriors, you've already compromised your fluff, so you might as well play with Wizardry. But it was good that he actually learned how to play without magic at first, just so he can understand movement and assault and all the ins and outs of that. Okay, so my plan is, only thing I really want to do this for the entire game is to throw the Warmongers into that Warrior unit and see what happens, right? Here's another view here. He marches forward. He brings his Knights forward. He brings everything forward a little bit, which is good, because these are the battles I like to see in fantasy. I like to see armies hitting each other in the face, crashing into each other, and just destroying each other. I like that. I don't like the dwarven brand of fantasy where you just sit back and shoot the whole time and there we go, somebody won, and it's not fun to me. But here we go. Here's another view of the table. I move my hounds forward to get in the way of his hounds. Right, I want to get his hounds out of my way of the Warmongers, and also to slow his unit down because I don't want them to. Because he pushed forward 8 inches forward, and if I tried to charge the Warmongers, they would have failed for sure. So I threw the hounds in front to slow them down just enough so I can get the Warmongers in my turn. I flew my Chimera up to harass his Skull Crushers to get them to do what I want them to do. I threw some hounds out there to try to slow down his Knights. It's not really going to slow him down, really. I just need him to slow him down enough so I can have an actual phase where I can do what I want to do. Something happened with the chariot. No, that's not a wound on the chariot. That was a place marker for deployment because neither one of us have shooting except I do have a hell cannon. I'm not gonna lie about that. I have a hell cannon, and I think I actually hit the that warrior unit with the hell cannon, and I killed like 3 guys and to take a panic, and they passed their panic check. His BSB is in there. You can't really see him because he's using a Lord model for that because I think he's going to convert the Lord model into a BSB, which is not a bad idea. Over here, here's another view here. In my magic phase, I cast Acquiescence on his knight unit, so I can slow his knights down. And then I actually cast Hysterical Frenzy on the Skull Crusher bus. So the Skull Crusher bus, every one of those Skull Crushers has like 7 attacks now, which is insane. I think, I'm not sure how it works, but I think the Juggernaut is actually affected by the Hysterical Frenzy. And I'll take Hysterical Frenzy because the only bad part about it is D3, Strength 3 hits, which Strength 3 on Skull Crusher, that's nothing. In his turn, he actually charges my Chimera with his Skull Crushers. I flee, actually double flee because he redirects into the Knight or my other chariot, and I flee from that too. His hounds actually charge my hounds, so that's good. That's really good, actually. Hopefully my hounds can hold. Here's a view of the Chimera fleeing from his Skull Crusher bus, because no way a Chimera can take on a Skull Crusher bus. There's no way in the world. And it's a good thing because it actually pulls his Skull Crushers forward, so I can hit it with my Skull Crushers. And since his Knights can't really help because they can't really move that fast, that's going to help out a lot. I moved, actually, I don't have the picture of it, but I moved the Hellstriders. They actually regrouped and flew over by his Chimera so they couldn't be seen. And then in his turn, he flies the Chimera up, drops him back down, and hits the Hellstriders with a flame template and kills like 3 of them. And here's another view of the Hound unit in the way there. I'm gonna actually move my Mongers up in my turn. I'm gonna try to move them up just a little bit so when the combat from the Hounds ends, the Warmongers can actually make that charge. They'll probably need an 8, which is it's not too bad of a reach. It's a little over average, but whatever. And the Hounds break and they run out of the way. He chases with his Hounds. If I were him, I would actually not chased after my Hounds with his. I would try to keep those Warmongers away from me. But at the end of the game, he said he also wanted to see what the Warmongers could do because he wants to build a Khorne army. I think Khorne is really fluffy. I like Khorne as a Chaos God, as a theme. I always like that Chaos Gods. So it's alluring. And here's a view of what's going on the right over here. Another view of it. Yeah. The Hellstriders are immune to psychology, so they're not going to panic from the flame template. And in my turn, my Skull Crushers charge his Skull Crushers, and I have a guy, my Chaos Lord, that's in the Skull Crusher bus. He has a 1-up rerollable armor save, and he has the Hellfire Sword, which ignores armor, and it does D3 wounds every time it wounds. So that's pretty cool. And it's a fluffy weapon that I've always wanted to see in action. The Warmongers actually make their charge, so that's going to be cool. Yeah, that's going to be really cool. And then his Knights actually killed the Hounds and overran into my Warriors. That's not so cool. My Hell Cannon I moved my Hell Cannon forward because why not? Because everything else is in close combat. There's nothing to shoot at except for a Chimera, and I'm not really interested in hitting the Chimera with the Hell Cannon, so yeah. And in this close combat with the Skull Crushers, if you're wondering what happened, he actually got broken. I killed 5 Skull Crushers, he fled. No, I didn't kill 5. I killed 3. It might have been 4. He fled. He lost his banner. He rolled a 9 and I rolled a 4. So that sucked. And over here, here's them in close combat. The warmongers. They did. I think they did. They killed like 3 to impact hits. I didn't even realize this. I didn't even think about this, but you don't get parry against impact hits. So he got his parry anyway. But I think he would get a 6 anyway. He would get 6 up anyway. So he had 6 up to save against the impact hits from the warmongers. Over here he does that to the warriors, and this is what happens in the warmonger combat. Now, if you remember what that unit looked like before the warmongers hit him. Yeah, they dished out like almost 15 wounds. It was ridiculous. And on top of that, those wounds that like there were more wounds, and this is a picture of my hounds fleeing off the table. There were more wounds, but he saved quite a few of them with his 5-up parry. But there were like 27 wounds came out of that unit. It was ridiculous. And then he did charge his knights into the side of the Skull Crushers, and the Skull Crushers hit. And then he also charged the Chimera into the face of the Skull Crushers. The Chimera was destroyed, and the knights they were only fighting the Exalted Hero, so they made it out, but they failed. They lost close combat. They ran. I had to chase because that was the first turn I was in close combat with them, so I had to pursue. And then over here he kills, and in his turn he actually killed my my sorcerer, and then he had to pursue the sorcerer. So both the Skull Crushers are parallel to each other, and they're both running something down, chasing it down. It's just his actually killed what he was chasing down. And so that's the way that looked. The guy actually, he couldn't play an entire game because he had something to do, but he said he was having some fun there. My chariot fled from his chariot because I was giving him a flank. I probably should have held, because chariots aren't necessarily guaranteed to kill other chariots. You never know what's going to happen. But that was a phone there. This is a fun game. Really, it is. Corn against corn, always fun. And those warmongers, look. And the second time, he did like 4 more wounds to the warmongers. And look what his unit looks like after that. He does 4 wounds to the warmongers, and then the warmongers like almost deplete the unit. Now, mind you, his unit was I think it was 30 warriors of Tzeentch, so they were tough hombres. But who won the battle? Ultimately, Khorne won the battle. Khorne